Yeah. Yep. Let me see. Let me get my notes here. I did a little
So,
stalking on you.
Anthony, do you want to introduce yourself?
No.
You want to tell us
okay,
about
I
yourself?
can.
I want you to introduce me, Anne. Do you have people come to your house for a dinner party, then ask them what they're cooking for you?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Come on, Lori, you can do
I'm
this.
ready. I'm ready.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You started off.
You're recording already?
Yes.
Okay. Anthony! It's Prince Spaghetti Day! Does anybody remember that 80s commercial? Yeah,
I do.
figured. Every time I hear the name Anthony, that's what I think of. So I had to start it off that way.
Thank you. That brought me back.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad it did. So, well, before we get into different music influences in your life and actors that are in your, that you've been over the years, because you're part of the Wicked Wild 80s and 90s group, and I see that you like a lot of the stuff that I post.
Oh, that's my time.
Yeah, great time. Mask free time.
Yes, definitely some good times.
Yeah. So oh wait, let me just do this. That's better. Okay, so I have to tell you, I was stalking you, well, your page, and
Nice.
I or some information about you, and I noticed that you were in Avenue Q, which is one of my most favorite musical, next to West Side Story. It's like such a difference, but
that's
still.
a range.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was in musical theater myself. I went to Dean College, and I was a dance major, but so I know a lot about musicals. And I did the lead in Shoeless Joe from Hannibal Moe, from Damn Yankees, that song I sang. But yeah, but I'm wondering, who did you play in Avenue Q?
Well, it's actually kind of a funny story. I was brought in as a replacement for Brian, who is one of two human characters in that show. Everyone else is puppets. And I love the show, and the director, I'd worked with her before, and I was in another show, and I was getting ready to come out of that show, and she asked me to come in because they were going to lose their Brian. And I have been plagued by nightmares my entire life, of this recurring nightmare where I am in a show and I'm going on and I've never done it before and I don't know what I'm doing. That dream came true with Avenue Q. I had 8 days from the time I got the call to the time I was on stage. So there was no rehearsal. There was no run through. I had a videotape of the show so I could learn the choreography, and I had to learn all the music on my own. And the first night I went on was the first night I had actually been in the same room with any of the actors.
Wow.
So we were all saying those lines and singing those songs to each other for the very first time. So it was, and it went well. I got everything right. And it, to this day, is one of my favorite shows I've ever done.
Oh, it's great. It's great. Yeah, because I that show, it's funny. And what is your favorite song from that show?
I think
from the show.
My favorite song is "Everyone's a Little Bit Racist."
Really?
That's got to be my favorite. Yes.
Okay.
Particularly Christmas Eve's part, because there was an amazing actress named Tiffany Liu who played my wife Christmas Eve in the show, and there are only like 2 actors that have ever come close to making me break on stage, and she is one of them, because she was so hilarious. And she would just look at me and I would just be like, just trying so hard. So that one's my favorite.
Oh, good. All right, Annie, do you have anything to say? Here's your question.
What do I want to ask?
You just take your time.
He's from your town, isn't he?
We'll wait for you.
He was originally from my state, so that's why we have a connection.
We have a connection. We were both born in Rhode Island. Everyone in Rhode Island is born in Providence, Rhode Island, because that was where the hospital was. So,
well, actually, I was born in actual Memorial.
Really? Wow.
In
So
where?
everyone except for Anne Marie was born in Providence.
Okay, yeah. She's special.
She is.
Yeah.
Laurie, we still need to officially meet, but anyways,
Yes. We do.
so
How
Anthony,
did you two get hooked up?
uh, the groups.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like her name on every group and it kept popping up. So
She loomed large in the MMC fandom. Was it Mickey Mouse Club or something else?
Yes.
no, it was Mickey Mouse Club.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
That's
it
how
was
she
the
and I met
party
as
page.
well.
It was the actual party page. That
Okay.
we-
Yeah. Yeah, because I didn't even know about 50 Shades of Damon until after the MMC thing, which I have my VIP that I'm wearing here. And I've been singing I Found Love like all afternoon since I was getting dressed in my
30th
Daisy.
anniversary.
What?
30th anniversary.
Yes, 30th anniversary.
We are old.
We are.
Oh, Anthony, quiet you.
It's true.
I know your birthday's coming up.
It is.
It is. Yes, this month.
20 more days. Yeah.
Mm,
As of this recording.
yes. Yeah. Well,
So-
my birthday's in November. I'm not too far
What day?
behind. The 26th.
Nice. My brother's on the 23rd.
Oh, mine's on
That's it.
Thanksgiving Day today.
My brother
This year.
was born on Thanksgiving. He was
Oh,
the
wow.
turkey. So yeah, that's,
I ruined Thanksgiving. My mom went into labor on Thanksgiving.
you know, hey, whatever you got to do to get out of cooking, that's, you know,
Yeah,
sometimes you got to go extreme.
exactly. Apparently so.
She's like, I'm 9 months pregnant. I got a house full of people. I'm not cooking. Help me do jumping jacks.
She actually went grocery shopping in a snowstorm.
Wow, on Thanksgiving.
Actually, no, it was before Thanksgiving. Oh, now I can see everybody.
Okay.
Oh, actually, it was the day before Thanksgiving. She went for a walk to the grocery store to get stuff for Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh my
And
God.
when she walked back, we had when she walked back, there was just, you know, she went into labor.
Mhm. And now,
So
now
she
you're a
couldn't do
New
the
Englander
cooking.
too, right, Lori?
What's that?
You're from New England as well.
Oh yeah, I'm from Boston.
So
Well,
she was walking in the snow.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Around the corner with a stroller and 3 other kids. So
Amazing. Wow.
yeah. So I don't think she wanted to cook. That's pretty
All
right
right.
on, spot on.
Well, she's a badass. Good for her.
Oh, I know. Now she's 71 and she doesn't even want to go do laundry. So
Hey, that woman has done her running around. she had been done that. She's good. She's gonna relax now.
she has no more excuses. She has to cook.
Mhm.
So
Anthony.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
When did you become a fan of the Mickey Mouse Club?
Oh, man, day one. I remember the show. I remember them talking about the show and running advertisements and stuff like that. And I was gonna watch it anyway because I was just curious and I wanted to see. And I was right in that age wheelhouse for it. And I remember I was in 8th grade, and I was thinking about it in my English class about how excited I was to get to see it. And I was gonna record it just in case it was good. And I came home and I recorded it. And then at the end of that episode, I rewound the tape, Kids Ask Your Parents, and watched it back like 2 or 3 times because I was so swept in by it. And I absolutely just thought it was the coolest thing I had ever seen. And by Thursday or Friday of that week, a couple episodes in, these were officially my favorite people in the history of the world. And I had to be friends with them or I was going to die. And it just, from day one, I was hooked.
Yeah.
And you know what the funniest thing was? When I saw your name pop up on like friend suggestions, I literally thought that you were part of the Mickey Mouse Club.
I get that a lot because I did, for the last 2 seasons, I did a lot of extra work on the show. We moved to Florida right before season 6 started. So I actually got to the studio and sat in on tapings and then just kept coming back, and they would always call me for bit parts and stuff like that. So I got to know a lot of the people associated with the show. So I'm on a lot of those people. Once social media became a thing, a lot of them added me. So I was already on their lists, and that was one thing that I thought was really funny about the reunion, because several people, I mean, Annie, you were with me, you saw, several people were so excited to see me that I think some of the attendees might have thought I was like a famous person. And I'm okay with letting people think that. So they were all getting pictures with me and stuff. I'm like, but yeah, that was why I crop up on a lot of those things.
So now, after all like the reunions and stuff like that, who are you really close with? You already know who I'm very close with.
We all know who you're close with, Annie.
I have a different, special, and unique relationship with all of them. But I will say the person who I can text in the middle of the night some of the most ridiculous stuff, it's got to be Lindsay. She and I get so silly with each other, and the minute we are in the same space, it's on. We just start cracking jokes and playing off one another, and she's the one that I will not be professional in front of Lindsay. So.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and I make all my filthiest jokes with Damon. So. Read into that what you want.
Do you want to talk about the podcast you're doing with him?
Sure. Are you referring to my podcast that you don't listen to, or his podcast?
He got you there.
Both.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna give you crap about that until you listen to my podcast, or one of us dies.
I'd listen to the podcast. I like you, Anne Marie. Cool. I don't want you to die.
Anyway, but before I start schlepping my own podcast, what she's referring to is A Tongue Lashing with Damon Campolina, which I am now working on with him as a contributing writer. And we had our first episode go live last week. And it was some pretty heavy subject matter, but it was something that Damon was really passionate about talking about. And he got some great stuff in there, and a few of my jokes did make the cut. And just so you know, it's really difficult to make jokes about child trafficking. But moving forward, we were talking actually on Friday about other topics that are going to be a little more lighter, a little funnier, and more what you have kind of come to expect from Damon. So, and it's also really cool this season because last season was just an audio traditional podcast, and this one is video. He's actually doing it on screen. So, you get to see all the Italian stallion in his glory. Not that anyone would just watch for that reason, Anne.
No comment.
She pleads the fifth.
So, Anthony, how do you feel about these shows getting like a reboot, like Punky Brewster? I heard Moesha's supposed to be a reboot.
I had a huge crush on Soleil Moonfry when I was 10. So I watched Punky Brewster all the time, and I will definitely check out the new one. How I feel in general is I think there's a big thing with nostalgia right now in our culture, and everybody wants to see, and there's two schools of thought. There's the people who enjoyed this when they were kids, and they want to kind of go back to that and see, and then there are other people who kind of want to hate watch it because they're worried about their childhood being destroyed or some nonsense like that. But in any event, it's the network that has the last laugh because they're going to get the views regardless. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that, of different shows coming back. And for me, the only show that I watched that was a reboot that I actually really enjoyed was The Conners.
Roseanne.
I was a big fan of Roseanne. And then when Roseanne came back with Roseanne on it, I thought it was terrible. I mean, the writing was just, it was so weak. And the best part of that show was Lacey Goranson and Sarah Gilbert as the adult Darlene and Becky. And I was so happy that when they were actually, once Roseanne was tossed out with the rest of the garbage and they did the show revolving around those two, it got much, much better. Now, if I'm being honest, the show overall is still not as funny as the original Roseanne, but I really like it.
I didn't even, oh yes, I did know that the Conners had a reboot. I actually read today that they were, but this actually was released in, I think, 2019, that Step by Step is planning a reboot, or Patrick Duffy wants to make it a reboot.
Am I the only one that wants to see what Brandon Call looks like now?
Horrible. He looks horrible.
Does he really?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
He was such a cute kid. I didn't know if he was going to be hot when he grew up.
maybe it was a bad lighting. I don't know, but
Maybe, I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, that's a hard one. But I am happy that Christine Lankin, who was on Step by Step originally, and I'm sure will be coming back for the reboot, she co-hosts a podcast with Allah Khaled called The Worst Podcast Ever. And I absolutely love it. And Allah is very closely attached to the Mouse Club and all the members of the party. So they've got some great stories. And I didn't know that they actually knew each other, but it was great to hear her on that. So I'm excited to watch it for her if Step by Step comes back.
You know what show I want rebooted? Blossom.
Blossom would be
I
interesting.
could play Blossom.
Yes.
I could play her. I get the hat.
Joey Lawrence is keeping it tight. He still looks good. So.
I
Oh,
would
I'm
definitely
curious.
watch those. And then Saved by the Bell is coming out with a reboot.
But, you know,
Show gave me that look.
90210
I love that
came out
show.
with a reboot,
This
and that
is the 90s. So
I'm not going to make a lot of friends with your listeners for what I'm about to say. I hated Saved by the Bell. And I have discussed this at length on my podcast that you don't listen to, about, because when I was a kid, because again, that was perfect age group for me. And as far as my comedy, I was really into more of the adult stuff. Like, I liked the adult sitcoms. And, that show was tailored as light comedy to teenagers, and that's just not where I was. And like, because my best friend Durwood, who is one of the co-hosts on the podcast with me, he loves that show. Like, that was his jam. So he's watched every incarnation of it, and we actually talk about it on my show way more than I'd like to, but that's another thing. But I don't know. Like, I saw the trailer, and Mario Lopez and what's her face from Showgirls both look great, but I just don't know.
Oh, Elizabeth, what's her
Presley.
Berkley.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I mean, I hope you like it.
Well, what? Excuse me. Oh, not COVID. When they came out with the college years, I lost interest.
Yeah, and they did another, like, and we actually talked about that on the show a couple of weeks ago, because they did the new class, and that was the start of Bianca Lawson playing teenagers for 20 straight years. But and it was terrible. Like, they brought back Belding, and then like that couldn't save the show, so they brought in Dustin Diamond to revive his role as Screech, and it was just, you were like, what is wrong with this dude? Like,
He never grew up.
I wasn't. Yeah, I watched that one like out of train wreck curiosity.
Yeah.
But
you know what I'm crossing my fingers for? Fresh
What's that?
Prince.
I never thought of that.
That would be interesting. I don't know that Will Smith would ever do it, but I also don't know what that show would look like now that James Avery is no longer with us, because he was such a pivotal part of that show. I'd be curious. Perhaps we'll get a third Aunt Viv.
I don't know.
Or maybe it could be around the Fresh Prince's offspring.
Right. Or the kid, Ross Bagley, what was his name? Nicky.
Nicky?
In the later seasons, they had another kid. Did I imagine this?
Oh, no. Oh, you did? No, they did have another kid. Yeah.
So, and I mean, he'd be old enough now. Maybe it's a show about him being rich and his parents send him to live in the ghetto. I don't know. The poor Prince of Philadelphia.
But that would be pretty interesting. I had a whole storyline.
Time got lost when my rich parents cut me off. I don't know.
So I got another question, Anthony.
I would love to hear it.
If you had a choice, what would you pick? Theater or Broadway?
Wait a minute.
No, like musical theater or like regular Broadway, like an
Straight
actual
plays.
play.
Okay. To watch or to be in? Musicals all the way. Those I mean, there are some great straight plays out there. And I've been in a few, but my musical theater will always be my first love. I like to sing.
And dance? Are you a
I'm
dancer
a
too?
terrible dancer,
Oh.
but I am a mover,
And a shaker?
and a shaker, and I've had a showgirl at heart, and I've had many choreographers say to me over the years, now let's see what we can do with you in this number, and I'm just like, okay.
Oh,
I
no.
stand there and everyone dances around me, and it's fine. It really is.
And you
fine.
just like put an arm up.
Yeah,
Put an
yeah,
arm up.
yeah. Like I'm good with the attitude.
There's Anthony.
And everybody's doing actual twirls around me. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Now,
Well,
your
at least they
opinion,
incorporate
I had
would
to
you
wipe my
ever
face.
go on Dancing with the Stars?
I don't honestly,
Good
to be honest, with the people they're picking now, I think I might be too famous. I mean, like there's so many times where they're announcing people, and I'm like, wait, who? What?
I'm
What?
glad I'm not the only one. The only
Yeah,
one that I did know on one of the seasons was Doug Flutie, who's from my town, who was
Right, and he
a
plays the
football
sports
player.
ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
He was
like,
kicked
I mean,
off.
I knew who Carol Baskin was, so everybody talking about that was okay. But yeah, I don't know that and also once again, I cannot dance. And I would be very worried for the professionals they would pair me with for the safety of their toes. Because that could go bad real quick. Real quick.
I took ballroom for a few years. It's pretty structured.
Yeah,
it's a very structured dance.
The most I do is watch So You Think You Can Dance. That's as close to the dance stage as I will get.
Because you could always make up your own type of move,
I could, but the problem is if I'm trying to make up something and Lacey Schwimmer's dancing with me and I accidentally elbow her in the face, or like what am I gonna? I'm just gonna look at my partner and be like, all right, I'm going off script, back up. like I don't think that would be professional or safe.
No, you're right. So music wise, we talked about some shows and stuff like that, but music wise, when you in the 80s and 90s, did you listen to every genre, mainly R&B, country, rock? What was your forte?
I was very fortunate to have been raised in a very musical household. My dad is a musician, and he played oldies, which, at the time was 50s and 60s, so I heard all of that.
In a Pinto? Driving around in a Pinto? Were you driving around in a Pinto?
We were not in a Pinto, no.
Oh,
no,
I was.
we had a Chevelle, but my mom was very much into club and dance music, which at the time was disco, so I got that whole influence. And my older brother was super into all of the sounds that were coming out of New York and the funk and soul and things that would eventually become hip hop. So I got like one of the best musical educations as a kid. And my tastes really haven't changed that much. I was obsessed with Prince, and I still am. I was obsessed with Madonna, and I still am. I was obsessed with Cyndi Lauper, and I still am. Culture Club was my jam. That was I was just transfixed by a lot of pop music and a lot of danceable stuff. And
Wham.
Yeah, I totally.
Were you a Wham fan?
I big Wham fan, yes. And as I got older, that moved more into hip hop and that kind of stuff, and then musical theater. So it's really kind of all over the place. But yeah, I love all kinds of music from that era. And anytime it gets around my birthday, which is now, I start to listen to a lot of that music. So I was actually listening to my 1985 playlist on Spotify on my way here.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And what was on that playlist?
Well, let's see. This was 1985, so it would be Tears for Fears, Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
They were one of my favorites.
Jelly Bean and Madonna, Sidewalk Talk. The Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me. We Are the World was on there, only for sentimental value. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, good. Sounds fun. And in the 90s, it wasn't the same, or?
That's actually kind of funny because my podcast, The House of Pop Culture, we have our season premiere on September 17th, and we will be talking about our top 5 favorite songs from the 90s. So that is when it starts to get really eclectic for me, because I was you know, in the early 90s, that's when I became an adult and I started listening to a lot of what was on the radio, but also a lot of stuff on MTV and finding a lot of stuff on my own. You see, kids, in those days, we didn't have that there internet, so we had to go searching for our music. And
On
and
45s.
so you know, 1975 all day, baby. But
I was born in 76, so you got me beat.
okay. But anyway, that yeah, so it's very eclectic stuff. And I will tell you that the 90s, I think we experienced the biggest range of popular music, because if you look at 1990 and you look at what was on the top of the charts there versus 1999 and where we were, because one, nobody listened to any Backstreet Boys in 1990. You know, the teen pop market was not a big thing, which is part of a bigger story about why the party was ahead of their time. But you know, we got into grunge, and that's when we started to hear rap on the radio with MC Hammer. And then by the time the decade was over, hip hop was everywhere. The teen groups were everywhere. You know, we started to hear Latin music on pop radio, which Ricky Martin and Jennifer Lopez. We didn't have any of that in the beginning of the decade. So I think one of the reasons I love the 90s so much is because you've just got that range.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you can understand what they're talking about. Their music sends a message.
Yes.
Or it's a danceable beat. I can't make heads or tails of what they're saying nowadays.
You know, I try not to be that guy because I am almost 45. But, you know, there are times where I'm just like, I remember hearing Billie Eilish for the first time and thinking, that's not for me. You know,
Billie
Eilish.
Oh, Billie Eilish.
Yeah, she's a new artist. And
oh, okay. I haven't heard of her.
A lot of the younger acts that are popular today, it's all about the vibe. So it just kind of sounds like this sedative of people not really doing or saying a whole lot. And just kind of, and I'm like, I'm not 18 and I don't do math. So there's nothing there for me. Give me the old school music with a beat and a message.
Yeah.
Have you listened to America's Top 40 with, what's his name?
Is it Ryan Seacrest?
No.
I don't know who hosts it now. I haven't heard it in years.
No. The original one that was always, yes.
Yeah.
I always listen to that just to listen to the top number ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, totally. I wouldn't miss it every week. I remember it was him, and then it was Shadow Stevens for some years after Casey Kasem retired. And that was one thing I really enjoyed as a kid that I don't get to do now, listening to the radio, because I worked in radio for a few years back in the 90s, and it was a very different setup than how it is now. Radio way back in the day was local. The DJ you heard was an actual person sitting in a studio playing records or tapes or CDs, interacting with the listeners. Now it's all satellite based. It's all pre-programmed. It's all, you know, you can't call Sirius Radio and ask to hear a song and then have them put it up and give you a shout out. And I really miss that. So I haven't listened to the radio in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Because I can make my own. So as you can see,
you got a big collection there.
This isn't even a third of it.
Now, do you want to talk about your artist side? Like you do sketches and all that stuff. Come on.
Sure.
Come on. We got to plug it in.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. That is true. So what she is referring to is my actual job when I'm not in theater. Nobody's in theater now. Is I am a cartoonist and sketch artist. And my parents told me I started doing that when I was around 2. I don't remember that, but and then they saw that I had some kind of gift for it. So they encouraged that, and I did that for a very long time. And I let it go for a few years when I started, right after the Mouse Club. And that's when I did television for 15 years. But I came back to it some years ago as a commercial artist. I started drawing like chalkboards for Trader Joe's and stuff like that, and mural work. And what really kind of resonated with people was all of the Disney stuff. That's my passion. That's what I love. And I guess I'm good at it because people keep giving me money to do it. So that is the majority of what I do. And I also create my own t-shirts. I wore a few of those to MMC 30. I did some MMC inspired stuff. And I have been very fortunate this year because I did a T-shirt called "Not Today, Karen," with a Karen with a circle and a slash, and it has become the biggest selling piece of artwork I've ever created. So,
Wow, congratulations.
thanks. I was really happy with it, and I was really glad that so many people bought it. I was not expecting, and then I put it on a mask, and that sold well too. So, way to use my gifts to capitalize on collective anger. But that's a lot of what I do, and people, if anyone is interested in seeing my work, you on Facebook can go to Pencil and Page, The Art of Anthony Donovan, or you can look me up on Instagram for Anthony Donovan Art.
Okay.
Because I do have your card that you sent me that you handmade.
Oh yeah, I did do that, didn't I?
Was it for Christmas or was it for my birthday?
I don't know.
I still have it.
I'm glad you have it. Thank you. That is one thing I enjoy doing is handmade cards. My nieces get handmade cards every year on their birthday, and that's why I'm their favorite uncle, and definitely not because the card always has cash in it. In any event, know your audience. That's, you know. Of course, I have to be their favorite uncle. I'm also their only uncle, but.
I was going to ask a question. Oh, goodness, it's completely slipped my mind.
I apologize if I'm like super sweaty because I'm in San Diego and it is 102 degrees and there is a wildfire 35 miles from my house. So the sky is filled with ash and it's like super hot out.
Oh, that's horrible. I know, what is going on over there?
It's California. That's, you know, it's around this time of year. Summer's over. Fall's about to start. Everywhere you look, there are the colors of red and orange and yellow because everything is on fire.
Yeah. Where we have the leaves turning.
You have actual seasons and weather. Yeah. I do miss that though. That's actually one of the things I'm planning because since I've been at home like everybody else during this pandemic, I've had a lot of opportunity to think about the places I haven't been in a while and the traveling I'd like to do. And one of the things my boyfriend and I are probably going to do is take an East Coast tour next year. And I don't know that I'll be able to convince him, but I want to go closer to fall. Even though it'll be colder, I really want to see the color change because I missed that.
Yeah, yeah. It's beautiful.
Well, if you do come back this way, you got two people to meet. Me and Lori and a few other people.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I've already met you, but I'm excited to meet Lori.
Yay!
And I thought I was your favorite.
But I told you.
You're still his favorite.
I told you I will not set foot in the state of Rhode Island without seeing you.
I know.
And now we have it documented.
And you have to watch his podcast.
Or listen to it, because ours is one of the old-fashioned video.
Or
hey,
listen to it, yeah.
I have 2 weeks off, so I got plenty of time now.
You got time, and we have a lot of backstock. You can listen to the House of Pop Culture on Spotify or Stitcher or Podbean or anywhere you hear podcasts, or go to thehouseofpopculture.com.
I like that plug.
Thank you. I've been doing this a long time.
I can tell.
No, I'm glad you guys are doing this because podcasting is one of the most fun things I do. So you're in for a fun ride.
Oh, good. When we don't run out of things to say. But there was something that I wanted to ask, and I just cannot. It had to do with radio, I believe, and it must not have been important because I can't remember.
That is okay.
Did you write it down?
No, because I just popped into my head. But
okay,
I have ADHD, so it pops into my head, and if I don't say it at that time, and I don't have no, my pen's gone. Someone stole my pen out of my desk, so I don't have a pen.
I hate
but I have
thieves.
sticky notes. But yeah, so I guess it doesn't. That doesn't really.
But Lori,
yes.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you do? What's your deal? I know her.
Well, right now I've been working at a bank for almost 25 years. Same bank. Yeah. I love it, but I went to school for dance.
Okay.
Then I got arthritis in both my knees and was told I can't dance anymore.
That sounds like a dancer career, all right.
Mm-hmm. And I was only 19 when that happened. Mm-hmm. So I stayed at the bank, and but I actually ran a karaoke show for 19 years.
Do you sing?
I try. I'm not horrible, but
Okay.
I'm not professional.
What was your dance training in? Was it ballet, tap, jazz, kind of everything, or did you have a
Yeah,
specialty?
ballet, tap, jazz, modern, African. Um, and then in my later years I took ballroom on my own. So
Nice.
I learned tango,
Mhm.
salsa, the
The dreaded
waltz, and
quick
then
step.
yep, quick step. It's one of my favorites. I
Hmm.
call it the gingerbread man dance. But yeah, I actually auditioned for the Mickey Mouse Club. It's kind of a funny story.
Way to
I was
bury the
telling,
lead, dude! Come on, spill it.
well, it's kind of funny. I was telling Ann last night. Um, it was the season before. Must have been like, when did Britney Spears join in season 5 or season 6? 6. Okay, so this must have been either season 4 or 5 that I auditioned for. It was when they came to Boston at the
Mhm.
Lafayette House, or Lafayette Hotel, and which I don't think is there anymore. But I went there, and I think it was like a Thursday night. It was during the school week, and I went with my friend Nancy, and we got there, and you know, wait in line, you do your thing, and you have your little photos, and you know, you have all that stuff. And I ended up getting a call back,
Nice.
but when I got the call back, my parents wouldn't let me go do the second call back because they. So I said, well, why did you let me audition? And they said, we really didn't think you would get picked. And I said, that's horrible, because not only was I disappointed, but it you know, someone else could have gotten that spot. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh my God, I am
yeah.
so sorry.
Well, I probably wouldn't have gotten past the second audition anyways,
Well,
but at
we'll
least I
never know, will we, Lori's parents?
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Damn.
I mean, it's
I
all
cannot
because I
believe
ruined her
that.
Thanksgiving.
Okay.
She's not
So-
thankful for me.
All right, so here's the thing. They didn't have any new casts in season 5, so it was season 4 you went out for, which means it was 91, right?
I was in high school. Yes, I was a junior in high school, so it was 91.
There was a picture that I think it was Tony put up not too long ago of the callbacks at the camp when they were, you know, doing the final callbacks, and a bunch of kids are in it. Like, you can see Rona, you can see Nita, you can see Tony in it. Sutton Foster is in that picture.
Who?
Sutton Foster. Do you know who that is?
No, but my niece's name is Sutton.
Well, Sutton Foster is a huge Broadway star now. She won a Tony for Suddenly Modern Millie. She was in Young Frankenstein. She was in the original cast of Shrek. She was in Anything Goes. Huge Broadway star. And she didn't make it onto the show.
Oh.
And I remember when Tony posted that picture, I was just like, oh my God, do you know who that is? And like, I show it to all my theater friends, and like, so don't feel bad is the moral of the story, because Sutton Foster didn't make it on either. So
okay.
I remember them having auditions in Boston, which was not too far from where I lived in Rhode Island, and I would have loved to do that, but I wasn't a performing kid. Like, I didn't really get serious about all of that stuff until I was an adult, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't, you know, I wouldn't have been at the right place in my craft,
in your head and everything.
and I was so shy. I didn't know, you know, I was just a chubby gay teenager with a mullet in Rhode Island, and the shit was not sexy. It was just, so I don't think I would have made it on. And one of the best moments of my entire life was when I was in Los Angeles for City Gala with the MMC 30 crowd, and Jennifer McGill and I were each other's date for that night because my friend Kelly had gotten sick and she couldn't make it. And at one point, Jen did say to me, she's just like, I could have seen you there with us when we were kids. And I was just like,
oh.
yeah, except, you know, I was totally cool about it. But
That's certainly a an honor coming from Jennifer McGill.
Right? She's one of my favorite people on earth. Like I
know.
I adore her so much.
Yeah.
How's that show you're watching, Ann?
What?
I just figured you were watching this like a show right now because you've been awful quiet.
I'm trying to think of another question.
Did you write them down?
No.
Preparation is key.
You were also
okay. So Anthony.
Yes, ma'am.
Dead or alive? Who would you want to hang out with? I think I know this answer.
Dead or alive? I can't pick one of each.
Well, you can do both. Whatever.
Okay. Of anyone living, who would I want to have dinner with? That's a rough one. There's a lot of people I'd like to meet. I love Michelle Obama. I would want to have dinner with her.
Over Madonna?
Over Madonna, yeah. Well, because here's the thing. You know that they say don't meet your heroes.
Oh yeah.
And I just know, as much as I love Madonna, I mean, let's face it, she's a bitch. And I wouldn't want to sully that with a bad interaction.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to love her from afar. So yeah, Michelle Obama, living, and dead. My mom. She was my favorite person. So I would absolutely give anything to have dinner with my mom. She wouldn't even have to cook.
And Prince.
And maybe Prince. I don't know. That might get a little tedious too. I just, he would just sit there and be all obtuse, like, and he wouldn't say anything for like an hour. And then I'd be like, so how are you liking your meal, buddy? And be like, I'm in the light of God and favored. In the afterlife, there are doves. Oh, that's great, buddy. Can you pass me that fork? I just want to say that on the day of judgment, if the sky is filled with blood, red and blue make purple. So you don't want dessert? Okay, that would be me and Prince having dinner together. Because I love that little bastard, but he was crazy.
Yeah. Speaking of crazy,
my favorite subject.
I know. Oh crap! Oh, you were in. You played Big Bopper.
I did.
Was it the Buddy Holly movie?
No. It was the Buddy Holly story, which is a stage musical. And how that whole thing started was I was in a production, a concert version of Godspell. And one night after the show, I was walking back to my car, and my friend Meredith Russo, who's another actor in town, she kind of grabbed me, and she had a gal with her, and she introduced me to the lady who was with her, and the lady looked at me and went, "Hi, I'm Terry Brown. I'm the artistic director of Onstage Playhouse. I'm directing the Buddy Holly story this summer. Do you know who the Big Bopper is?" Like, that was her whole first sentence to me. And I went, "Hello, baby." And she was just like, "This is my guy." And that's how I got the part.
Oh,
and
wow.
because I knew who the Big Bopper was, because again, my father was an oldies disc jockey, and that was a really fun show to do because it was half concert and half play. So I would go out there as the Big Bopper with a full band and background singers and dancers and do Chantilly Lace every night to a crowd of old people who ate it up. Just this sea of cottony heads you just see every night. And you think to yourself, this has to be an insurance risk, because Ann knows what's up when you're in a room full of old people and you're like, it got that smell. But, and suddenly there's this hooded figure with a saber in the back and you don't know what's going on. But I would do that every night. And if I saw someone was asleep, I could mess with them, and that was fun. And that whole thing was totally worth doing, even though every night the band, to mess with me, would push tempo a little further every night. And, I'm at this time, I'm 40, so I'm not in my spryest, and I'm like running out of breath trying to keep up with the band, trying to dance and sing. But it was worth it because I won Best Supporting Actor in a Musical at the Opry Awards that year.
Congratulations.
Must have done something right. So yeah, I will always love the Buddy Holly story for that reason.
Yeah, I saw the movie. So with Richie Valens was in it, I believe. No, Richie Valens was the singer. Who played him?
Well, in the movie, I think that was
Diamonds.
Blue Diamond Phillips played
Yeah.
Richie Valens in La Bamba. The
Oh,
Buddy Holly story was Gary Busey.
really?
That was a different movie. But it was really sad that story, the day the music died, because Buddy Holly was only 23 when he died, and Richie Valens was 17, and the Big Bopper was 28. Yeah, so like they were all fairly young when you think about it. And reading up on J.P. Richardson, who's the Big Bopper's real name, I read up a lot on his life, and he was a Guinness record holder. He was a radio disc jockey, and he decided to see if he could do the longest uninterrupted broadcast in history. And he did. He would play some records and then jump in and take a shower or use the bathroom. And he just kept playing that show for like, I don't know, 72 hours or something like that. He was an interesting dude.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's cool or crazy.
Well, I mean, obviously it's tragic that they all died.
Yeah,
But and I remember sitting down for the table read and reading the script for the first time with the cast and Buddy Holly, and I was like, wow, he was a dick. He was a genius. I mean, obviously Buddy Holly basically invented a whole new genre and style of rock and roll, but he was a cocky kid. He did not come off as terribly likable in that story.
Yeah.
And, played so beautifully by my friends Noah Zuniga Williams, who played him, and also won Best Actor that year at the Aubreys for that same role. So that was cool. But yeah, he was a complex dude.
Yeah.
So before we wrap it up, I got a few more minutes. What is your favorite thing to do at Disneyland? Because you love being there all the time, but obviously now you can't be there.
I have not been back to Disneyland since February 17th, which is the longest I have gone without going since I started going. And I would probably say my favorite thing. Okay. Honestly, my favorite thing to do at Disneyland is to bring my sketch pad and just sit and draw. But my second favorite thing to do is take somebody there, because I go there so frequently. Whenever I have a friend who is either visiting from far away or they don't go very often, they always like to take me with them as like their Disneyland concierge, because I know all the cool things to do. I know how to shortcut all the rides. I know how to go on a budget. Like I can make you stuff your face, breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snacks for less than $40 at Disneyland, because I know where all the deals are. Wow. So when we need to be fabulous on a budget, holla at your boy. So yeah, that's taking someone to Disneyland is my favorite thing. And I don't like bringing dates there, because I don't want to sully my relationship with Disneyland with a breakup. So yeah, but I do very much enjoy going. And yeah, one of my favorite memories was MMC 30 Anaheim at Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen in Downton Disney in Anaheim, because it was the merging of my two favorite things, MMC and Disneyland.
You have to put Rocky Point in there too.
I do. For those unaware, Rhode Island had an amusement park it was over 100 years, right?
Yep.
And it was
I've
called.
been there.
Oh yeah, and we all. I mean, anyone from New England, if you grew up in that time.
I saw Stevie B there.
I saw the party there.
I think
I saw the party there too.
Oh my God, Lori, were we at the same show?
We were,
That's
but I also
amazing.
saw them at Riverside Park.
Nice.
Also.
Jealous. See, I only saw the party as a quintet 5 times. Or no, 1 time. I only saw the 5 of them 1 time. Anything I saw after that was after they got back together. So I only saw the 90s party once, but it was a great show.
I saw them like 5 times.
Oh, I'm so jealous. And I remember being so excited at the show because Chase said on stage that they were going to be debuting a new song. And it was the first time they performed Peace, Love, and Understanding. And I was beside myself. I was there with my best friend, John, in high school. and I had his younger brother on my shoulders so he could see. So I was really sore by the end of the night, but it was a great show.
They did put on
Rocky
really
Point.
great
Rocky Point was it, dude. Like, I'm so happy that I made the point to go there one more time before I moved. It was in the summer of '93, and my friends Jen and Larissa and I, we went, and it was super fun. And it was so stuck in the '70s, and it was jank and really unsafe and smelled weird. But those were all the things that made it great. Like, you didn't know if you cut your arm on the ride if you were going to get tetanus or not, but it was worth it all. And I remember like being on the Flume, the water ride, and once that water got in your hair, it wasn't coming out for 7 solid days, and you rolled with it. It was good times, man. They just don't make them like that anymore.
Well, I've been there maybe like a couple months ago, and now it's a park. It's like a little like state park kinda. They still have part of the sky ride one.
Really?
And they still have the arch.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's when I go there, it's not the same. Now it's like all grass and stuff, and I'm just like,
this is too clean.
Yeah.
Where are the
I think I saw a Michael Jackson impersonator there too once.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who went on the corkscrew over there? I never had the guts to go on it.
The corkscrew?
The roller coaster.
Oh, me. I hit every roller coaster on the East Coast.
The corkscrew actually made me a fan of roller coasters because I did the Cyclone, which was the smaller one. That was more my speed, but I remember I was there with my cousin Philip one night, and there were these two girls he started talking to, and he was really feeling one of them, and he wanted to impress her. And he's like, "Oh, come on, my cousin and I are going to go on the corkscrew. You girls should come with us." And I'm like, "What did you do? I ain't going on. You out your mind." And so he was like, "Please do this for me," so he could impress this girl. Her poor friend. I don't know what she was thinking was going to happen, but I got on the corkscrew. Of course, pretending to be super tough and loving roller coasters, and I nearly, crapped my pants, but it was fun. I actually liked it. So I was just like, yeah, this is for me. Making out with the girl, not so much, but the roller coaster was cool.
Those were the good old days, man.
They were. Well, and I don't know that I would want to go to Rocky Point now if it still existed, because now I'm an adult and I don't have that sense. I've been outside Rhode Island most of my life. I've gone to the bigger, more impressive theme parks, and I would be all jaded and be like, that's unsafe, and that hasn't been painted since 1973. And why does that man with 3 fingers want tickets from me? And where did you get that corn dog? They don't sell those here. Like, I would just have those feelings, and I don't know as an adult that I would enjoy it as much. So I'm kind of okay letting it be this perfect childhood memory,
Just cracking up. Sorry.
She loves you. She loves you.
Funny.
Rocky Point was the real ish.
I remember the song, Rocky Point.
Oh,
Wait.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
Actually, Lori, now that I remember,
feel alive. Rocky
when I saw
Point.
the party, they were opening for High Five.
I saw them in High Five in Hampton Beach.
Yeah, that was that tour. And I remember after the party was over, I left because I didn't care about High Five. Sorry, no disrespect to High Five.
Well, the lead singer is dead now anyways.
Oh my
He
God.
died. Yeah. Huffing paint.
That's
Don't huff
very-
paint, children.
don't do drugs, kids.
Yeah, just no.
Or if you do, don't use my art supplies. What the hell? That is terrible.
It is
Wow.
terrible. I
That's
found that
awful.
out, and I was, but I think he was young when it happened. So, but they only had what, like, I guess he couldn't wait another minute,
You're
Sorry.
cold, Lori. You're stone cold.
I'm so punny.
Wow.
Oh, so yeah.
So, any
Yeah.
last questions?
I don't know. Is there anybody else I didn't know was dead that we need to go over? Is there?
Well, no, Aaliyah, she passed away in a very
did.
sad
That was
plane
that was the
crash.
only time I ever cried over a celebrity's death. Was Aaliyah?
Not even Biggie or Tupac?
No.
Oh, I didn't either.
I mean, I was
But
very
I felt
sad.
bad.
I was very sad, but
Yeah.
or like when Prince died, I was devastated. But
Oh, yeah.
you know, and that only came a couple of months after I lost my mom, so that was pretty traumatic for me. But like, I remember the first time, like, I was, because I mean, I've always been industry connected. Like, I have friends who do that. So it's like, I don't know a lot of celebrities, but I know a lot of people who know celebrities. And Aaliyah was just one of those people that I had never heard a bad word spoken about. Like, everything I heard about her, she was just so sweet and so talented. And yeah, and it was just one of those things where she was so young and so beautiful and so talented and had so much potential. I think we were just scratching the surface of what we were going to see from her, and it was just so awful that we lost her, that she died to make a music video. And it was just,
I know,
because you know, they didn't do safety first, and if someone had been like, no, this plane is too heavy, she'd be alive today.
Right.
And that's really terrible. But you know,
Yeah.
we have the music, and the music lives forever. That's one of the beautiful things about music, is that it is a perfect time capsule that can take you back to any time. You know,
and she was the feel-good music.
Yes, absolutely.
That was the feel-good time.
Yes.
I find the 90s, early till mid 90s, and even like the later 90s, early thousands, that to me is feel-good music, you know.
Yeah.
Can I just say something? What really hurt me the most is when Left Eye passed away.
Yeah, that was a shocker.
When I met TLC, I just told him, like, I wish Left Eye was still here. She was part of the group and everything. Well, she made her own style in the group.
Mm-hmm.
She was the rapper.
Right. And it was just sad, like, what happened to her.
Yeah, no, I remember with TLC, the first time I ever saw them, I'm really bad at predicting successful acts. And I remember seeing TLC on Arsenio Hall when they did Ain't Too Proud to Beg. And I remember watching that thinking, oh my God, we're never going to hear from them again. I'm really bad at this I did the same thing with Brandy. I was just like, I heard I Want to Be Down. I'm like, oh, this song is cute. This little TV actress thinks she's going to be a singer. Okay, cool. Yeah, can't wait for that second single. You know, and then of course she becomes super famous and makes a lot of great music. But
yeah,
she actually made one of my favorite albums of the aughts, which was Aphrodisiac in 2004. That was a fantastic record. But yeah, I'm bad at predicting that kind of stuff. But TLC was one of those groups that I just didn't think would have the longevity they had. And again, way too soon. And it like, especially for me, I don't know if you guys experience this, but the older I get, the more prevalent it becomes to me how young they were when they passed.
Yeah.
Like, it still blows my mind that Tupac Shakur was 23 when he died. He was a kid.
Yeah, he was a kid.
Yeah, no, it's just crazy. Man, this took a hard left.
Do you want to add anything before we end this?
Let's see, did I hawk all my stuff? Be sure to listen to The House of Pop Culture on Spotify. Season premiere coming September 17th. Be sure to watch A Tongue Lashing with Damon Pampolina, and you can check that out if you follow Damon on social media. There should be a link there. And check out Anthony Donovan art on Instagram. And also, if you are a fan of this here Mickey Mouse Club, check out my other Instagram site, which is MMC Daily.
I hold my mug. I'm a fan.
That's right. Represent. Share in the Mouska love. Share in the Mouska love, everybody.
Yes.
Hopefully, I will see you both in 2021. That would be magnificent.
That would be. Here's to a better next year.
Please.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I feel like a therapist.
I appreciate you joining us, our first Zoom podcast, whatever.
I appreciate you asking me.
Do you think it went well?
I think it did.
Okay.
I think it did. I thought.